I just spent half of my project's budget on a bike that most people call a girl's bike. Now it's up to us to make it cool. So welcome to episode 1 of the Harley Davidson Sportster dirt bike project. I actually don't really understand why so many people call it a girl's bike. I mean, yes, it's small, and when I ride it, my knees almost touch my arms, but at the same time, it's a 500-pound brick. It's definitely designed to stay on the road, which I guess is what makes it so tempting to do the exact opposite. And today, we're finally starting that journey of transforming this Sportster into a dirt bike. And the first project that I want to tackle is the rear wheel conversion. So let's get the parts. These are all of the parts that we need for the rear wheel conversion. But let's start with the most important one, the actual rear wheel. This looks very clean. So this is the rear wheel that I bought from TC Bros, and it's a little bit of a controversial choice because the rim is 19 by 2.5 inches and the standard dirt bike rim size is 18 inches, which definitely makes it a lot easier to find the right tires and all of that stuff. But the main reason for me to get this wheel was that it's completely done. You can buy this for $275 and everything is completely finished. You have the rim with the 40 holes laced up to the stock Sportster hub. You have the wheel bearings installed, the valve is installed, the rim band is installed. So you have to do nothing than installing the right tire. And for $275, I feel like that is a bargain because getting an XL rim, for example, is the same price. Then you have to get the spokes, you have to get the stock Sportster hub, and then you have to find someone who can lace it up for you if you can't do it yourself. I've never done that before. And then once all of that is done, you might even have to make adjustment spaces so that it can actually fit your model of Sportster. So since I've never done that, I didn't want to go through that hassle. So let me show you which tire we're going to run. Now that I know that I can still run it.
TC Brothers.
Hi, this is Josh speaking. How are you doing? I bought the 19 by 2.5 inch rear wheel from you. The black one, and I wanted to run a tube setup. So this is the first time for me installing a custom rear wheel. Since it already has the valve installed, I suspect that it's for tubeless tires, right?
No, it's tube or tubeless. All you gotta do is remove the valve and you can put a tube in it.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
All right, nice. So that solves that issue. As the tire, I chose the Kenda Trackmaster K760. I don't know a lot about dirt bike tires. I did have a YZ125 growing up, but I didn't really ride it a lot because it was broken all of the time and I didn't have a shop to repair it. That's also where my motivation comes from to learn it the proper way now. So I chose this tire mainly because it wasn't super expensive and I wanted a tire that wasn't super soft so that I can ride it on the streets. It will probably not last very long anyways, but I felt like from the limited options that you have with 19-inch, I felt like this was a good option. And I also wanted to have a proper knobby tire just for the aggressive look. So that's the tire that I went with. And since it's a tube tire, I got a tube obviously, but I'm not really sure if it was the right choice. It's a 4mm heavy duty tube. And I heard controversial thoughts about this. Some people say that they put it in their like GS's adventure bikes and they like tour the whole world and they never have a flat. And other people said that they put it in their dirt bikes and they went on a highway and it got warm, and these tubes apparently don't handle heat that well. If you have any experiences with that, please let me know down below in the comments. I would highly appreciate that because I don't want to have a flat, especially because these apparently are a pain to change. Another major part of the rear wheel dirt bike conversion is the chain conversion. At the moment, the Sportster has a belt, and that is not the best choice for an off-road bike, I feel like. So I got the TC Bros chain conversion kit, which has the 2 sprockets, and then I got a few sponsors for this build. The first one that I can introduce is Axel America, and they were so kind to send out the 530 ZXW chain. I thought I would go with a lighter, more off-road focused one, but they said for a talkie bike like this one, this is the right chain. So I'm very happy that I have a high quality chain, because you can get the chain conversion kits with chains, but they don't really specify which chain you get. And this one is definitely more than enough for the Sportster. And then I got a few miscellaneous things from the Rusty Butcher, the chain slider, so that the chain doesn't dig into your swing arm, and then the chain adjuster plates for the back. If you want to build a Sportster like this and want basically everything to be bolt on and test it for you, the Rusty Butcher is the shop to go. Like, he has everything, and he comes out with more and more parts every week. So if you want to build one of those bikes and don't have to like experiment as much, then just head over to his website and check his parts out. I'm not affiliated, but I just like what he does. And then last but not least, we have brake parts. Since I have a 2002 Sportster and that rotor doesn't fit on the 99 hub, I had to get a new rotor, and if you get a new rotor, it makes sense to get new brake pads as well. So that is the whole setup. All right, now we get into the juicy stuff, but before I take everything apart, I need to get the tires installed because it's Friday at lunchtime. So I want to get the wheels back tonight so that we can progress tomorrow. So I'm going to do that with the rear wheel, and let me show you, because I also already have the front wheel. I've actually never taken it out of the box. I want you to be with me in the action. So this is the front wheel. It came with a complete front end, which I'm going to show you in the future. Now that I have the wheel out of the box, I'm actually considering not changing the front tire at the moment, because the hub is silver and I thought it wouldn't bother me, but now my perfectionism kicks in, and I think it would be so nice to have the front hub matching the rear hub and powder coated black, but that obviously only would make sense to do it at this stage. So I'm passing on the front tire for now. All right, here we are. I picked the wheel up yesterday, went out with some friends, so now we can continue. But there is one issue with this wheel. Since it's not a dedicated dirt bike rim, there's no hole in the rim to install a rim lock, which you normally have in dirt bike tires. It's basically like a plastic piece that sits in here in between the tire and the rim, and it locks the tire in place. And especially with a build like this, that might become an issue, because it's an aggressive tire and a torquey engine, and it might happen that the tire spins on the rim and then it gets popped. So we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, if I'm going to ride it on the streets, it's probably not an issue, because this will have less traction than a regular tire, but we'll see. If it becomes a problem, I might have to drill a hole and then install a rim lock. The ironic thing is, now that I'm thinking about rebuilding this, I could have just gone with an 18-inch and tried to figure it out, because I don't know, I think it might be a fun challenge to lace that up and learn how it works. But now let's focus on this one and get it on the bike. There are so many weird things underneath this frame, the side stand and then rails that go across. So it's impossible to use the whole area of the motorcycle lift. So I had to use like little wooden pieces to prop it up. So it's on 2 small wooden beams. I don't know how safe this is, but that is what we have to work with. Someone really abused this washer. Look at how bent this washer is. The other thing that I just noticed is that I think this nut is welded to the axle. If it is, then I need to take off the exhaust. Second try with the Imperial system. I'd say that's quite good. So this is the impact wrench that I got specifically for this job. It's a DeWalt DCF 911. Sounds like a Porsche, hopefully it's strong enough. And I also got a set of these big ass impact wrench sockets. We need a 1 7/8 for the nut, if my research is correct. So let's find out. I've never used an impact wrench before, but this is going the right way. This is a left-hand thread, if that's the right way to say it. So right means loose. Now the impact wrench just has to be strong enough, and the tire has to kind of like hold this in place. Well, let's see. I don't know, it seems like it's not moving. Nice, I feel it going. Okay, nice. So apparently it is strong enough. It just takes a little while. I was just impatient. The nice thing about belts is, look at how clean everything is. This is just dust. Nothing. The belt, super clean. You don't get any like properly greasy fingers. This one is just a little bit rusted, but look at the teeth. I mean, that is crazy. That's so nice compared to chains. Okay, we're making progress. All of the old stuff is off. Now I'm just gonna take the old wheel, steer the screws, and then we can install the new parts on the new wheel. I hit myself so hard in the face that my eyes are watering. But we've got the rear sprocket off. Well, that's a success. Now I have a problem with the brake side, and that is that it uses like very big torques. And in Germany I have the Proxxon set that comes with all of the big torques and hex sockets, but here in the regular kit, the biggest one that you get is a Torx 30, so that is too small, unfortunately. I guess that means we have to quickly run to the hardware store, and hopefully they have one like this. That was definitely worth the drive. At the first hardware store, this set was 60 bucks, and I thought, okay, let me check out Harbor Freight. I've never been, so first time at Harbor Freight, and I found basically the same set for $10. And I also wanted to check out all of the tools that I always see in the videos where people use the sandblasting cabinets from Harbor Freight and stuff like that. And you know that you're in America when you see something like this at the parking lot. Now let's get back home so we can continue. That's the rear wheel done. Now we have all of the screws that we need. No way. They're like half of a centimeter too long. No big deal. I got the right screws. We need a little bit of red Loctite, and then we can put those in. Yo, look at this. I love this look. I just love dirt bike tires and black rims. It just looks so aggressive. I'm excited to see how this is gonna look. That gives you a first taste. I feel like it looks a lot cooler in real life than it does on camera, but this is sick. And then imagine much longer rear shocks, all black. That's gonna be so cool. All right, now it's time for the front sprocket. I've got a clean chain back, so now we can test fit it on the bike, mark where we need to cut it, and then install it. And I actually got a new chain lock tool before. Where is it? Before I had this one, which is just a very basic one of Amazon. It's super tiny, it's super flimsy, and it's just annoying to work with because whenever you tighten it, it kind of like twists. So now I've got the real deal from Arcade Chains. This one is supposed to be a lot sturdier and a lot easier to work with. Yo, this new tool is amazing. It makes it so much easier to properly install it, because what it does is when you press on the plate has a little cutout, so you can only press it on as far as it needs to be. And then the other cool thing is that with the rivet setup, you get basically the same function. It has like a little ring cutout, and that's where the rivet will squeeze into. And once it hits the edges, it stops. That way you know that it is perfectly installed. So I'm very, very happy with this tool, and I bought it myself. Like, even though I got the chain sponsored, I bought this afterwards because I didn't want to mess up this chain. So now with the chain installed, we can go ahead and install the little adjuster plates in the back. This is just fancy details, nothing major. And then we can do the wheel alignment and set the slack. I'm not sure if it's worth 18 bucks, but it's definitely a nice detail and it looks much better than the stock silver ones. And since I didn't buy that much from Mark, aka the Rusty Butcher, I thought I would support him and get those as well, just because I like what he does. So with that installed, now the next step is to align the rear wheel so it's not crooked like this. And from there on, we can set the chain slack. I wrote an email to TC Bros asking for the recommended chain slack, and they said I should start out with 3/4 of an inch. So let's get that dialed in. For the rear wheel alignment, you basically just use a piece of welding rod, and then there's a hole in the swing arm. So you bend the welding rod just like this, and then you stick it in here, and then you check on the other side, and that's how you line it. Kind of DIY, but if it works, chain is adjusted. You measure in between the sprockets 3/4 of an inch. And since the bike is off the lift anyways, that is the perfect time to now put it back on these 3D printed blocks. Hopefully that gives me a little bit more stability and clearance. Nice, okay. That's much more stable. Still not ideal without the workbench, but that might be a future project. Now, the next steps are to secure the axle or tighten that, and then we can put on the lock nut on the front sprocket. Let's see if the rear tire has enough traction for me to properly tighten this. No, so this moves the bike. How do I do this? Ow, my foot. Can I put something beneath the tire? Let's see. Come on. 1. Give me a click. No. I'm struggling so much. Oh, why? So I'm just slipping the rear tire. Let me see. Use transmission sprocket holding tool. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't have that. My transmission sprocket holding tool is 3 blocks of wood in the back. I feel like it's close. Since none of my wood structures really worked, not underneath the rear wheel, neither underneath the sprocket, I was a little bit like, what can I do now? And then I had an idea, and it's a very, very long shot. I don't know, it's probably not gonna work, but I went into Fusion 360 and designed a bracket that is similar to the one that Harley Davidson recommends to use, like the original tool. So I had to do a few prints to get this right. And as I've said, this is a very long shot, but this is the final version that I have. And this fits right in between here. It's a very tight fit around here. It has a little bit more support at the top, and it fits into each of the teeth. So that locks the sprocket in place. I'm absolutely not sure if this is going to be strong enough, but at least, even if it isn't, I have a template. So I think my last option is to make this from metal. I watched all of the YouTube videos that are out there regarding the chain conversion, and most of the guys just use the impact wrench to, I don't know, send this home, but I don't really want to do that. And then the other guy said, yeah, you can use the rear brake, but I don't have anyone who can hold it for me, so I'm just gonna do this. And then he cuts to where it's already on there. So using the rear brake might also be an option. So if you have to do this and you have someone to help you, I would definitely try that, but I don't have anyone at the moment to do that for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and test the plastic bracket, and if that should hold, I would be so amazed. Let's see. Come on. Yo, what the? Let me see if we get 40, because this is really odd to me. Oh, what the Let's try 30. I don't get any click. That is so weird. That is absolutely weird. Is it the torque wrench? Oh, you know what? Do these work in both directions? Well, that would make sense. So, most torque wrenches are designed to work primarily in one direction, typically clockwise, which makes sense. However, some models, especially digital torque wrenches or those specifically labeled as dual direction, can also read torque in the counterclockwise direction. Well, this one is one of the cheapest ones that I could find on Amazon. So I guess that this one probably can't read in both directions. I'm not really sure what the smartest way to go about this is. First of all, I'm super impressed with this bracket. It's crazy how strong it is. So that is definitely feasible for this job. But now I need to figure out how we can install this lock plate. Oh, it fits. Okay, do you know what? I think I'm just gonna go with this. In case you want to 3D print the same bracket, I'm gonna link it down below in the description. I'm not sure if it fits on other Sportster models. You have to just print it and test it. if it's not the exact same setup. As I've said, this is 2002 swing arm, 23 teeth front sprocket. I think they probably haven't changed much because the front sprocket is actually from the package that is designed for, I think, 82 to 99 models, and it still fits the front. So the front sprockets, I suspect, are all the same throughout the years. And then I think the swing arm is probably also the same. So yeah, I'm just going to link it down below in case you want it. That makes me so happy that that worked. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that it's properly torqued, but it's definitely tight. And that is the rear wheel conversion done. We got a lot of things done, but at the same time, it just takes so long, especially with a new workshop and not having all of the tools and all of the supplies and stuff like that. But I'm happy with how this looks. This is already a very, very good start. So let's do a quick budget check, because as you know, I have $5,000 for this whole project. 2,700 went into the bike. Then we have spent rear wheel 275, rear tire 83, tube 34, sprockets, rear and front 170. The chain, even though I got a discount on that, is 192. Chain sider from the Rusty Butcher 50. Axle adjusters 19, brake rotor 100. So that brings us to a grand total of $923 just for this project alone, which means we are left with 1,377. Well, that's not going well, but we can sell the old parts and I'm excited to see how much we get back on those. But yeah, not much left. Speaking of not much left, if you want to support the channel, I have a few things in the works. So the first one is, as with the BMW, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to get the build sheet that I'm running. So it has all of the details for all of the parts, prices, links, shops, notes, alternatives to the parts that I chose. So if you want to follow the build and need inspiration or need information about the parts, then you can check that out down below in the description. At the moment, keep in mind that I only know that the parts that we use for this project definitely fit, but I keep updating the build sheet also for myself. So in the future, you can re-download it and then check kind of like front end conversion, stuff like that. So if you want to support the channel, then check that out down below in the description. Another thing that I'm working on in support of the channel are these t-shirts. My ideal scenario would be that I could do everything myself and quality check everything, but that is just not possible at this moment. So I found this company that basically does them and ships them out to you. And I ordered a few samples to see how the quality was. And there are a few good things about this company that I really liked. The first one is the quality of the t-shirts. They're very heavy and the fit is nice. The second one is that you can embroider instead of print. I feel like prints often either look cheap or they peel off after a few washes. With the embroidered one, I hope that they last for a very, very long time. And the two t-shirts that you've seen in this video are just my basic logo, but my brother encouraged me to do something a little bit more special, a little bit more out of the ordinary. So I made one design specifically for the Dirtster project and I really, really like it. I ordered a few samples of that. They should arrive next week and then I can show you and then we can talk about which ones you like best, which ones I like best, and then we can go from there. Anyways, there are just a lot of things going on at the same time. What I'm super, super thankful for are all of the sponsors that came on board for this build. I'm gonna introduce them one after the other as we use the parts. So I'm very excited for that because as you've seen, I have the whole basement full of high quality components. But yeah, if you have any feedback, let me know down below in the comments. I really, really appreciate that. And as always, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.